You are all the things that are wrong with you. It's not the alcohol or the drugs or any of the shitty things that happened to you in your career or when you were a kid. It's you. All right? It's you.
When watching BoJack Horseman, it becomes clear to the viewers that he comes out as generally not a good person. Sure, in the first couple of episodes or even seasons, we can laugh off all the minor things he's done, such as stealing a Navy SEAL's muffin, threw his mom's baby doll off the roof, or even stealing the Hollywood's D.
Weirder. Why the hell would I steal a giant D?
But there comes a point in the show where the writers would want the audience to know the gravity of what BoJack did and the consequences he has to face for them. Granted, when watching BoJack a couple of times, we can really digest how bad he is. Actually, bad is an understatement, seeing as how he tried to sleep with an underage girl, stabbed his best friend Herb in the back, and even gave Sarah Lynn the drug that ultimately caused her death. It's safe to say that he is a horrible, horrible person. But when the viewers watched BoJack for the first time, no one really hated him. No one hated him the way Breaking Bad community hated Skyler, even if BoJack is objectively way worse than her. No one hated him the way Jeffrey was hated by the Game of Thrones community. Even when searching for the most hated characters in fiction across all movies and TV shows, BoJack does not appear in any of those lists considering what he's done. It got me wondering why we automatically didn't hate him and his actions. That's why in this video, I'll talk about some of the major horrible things BoJack has done and their consequences, and why the viewers don't necessarily hate him for it, but rather feel sympathetic towards him.
Yeah. My day was good.
It's an understatement to say that BoJack influenced Sarah Lynn into becoming what she was.
Don't stop dancing. Don't stop dancing.
BoJack remained the father figure of Sarah Lynn throughout her life since her stepdad was not present, and it is heavily implied that she had a history of sexual abuse from her stepdad.
It's bear fur. I can tell. My stepdad was a bear.
Why can't you do this in Sarah Lynn's dressing room?
My stepdad's in there and he's being weird.
Why is that my problem?
We appreciate.
Sarah Lynn also does not have a good relationship with her mom, seeing that her mom shoots down her dreams of becoming an architect and did some shady things in order for her to have her role in Horsing Around.
I want to be an architect.
Sweetheart, Mommy didn't do what Mommy did to that Star Search producer so that you could be an architect.
Because of this, BoJack remained the key figure in Sarah Lynn's early life as a child star. BoJack knows this, and rather than being a good influence on her, he literally and figuratively destroyed her life. Towards the start of the show, we are given a scene with the young Sarah Lynn and BoJack in the set of Horsing Around. BoJack then tells Sarah Lynn to always give the people what they want, even if it kills her.
Family will never understand you. Your lovers will leave you or try to change you. But your fans, you be good to them, and they'll be good to you.
We are rolling. Sound speed.
The most important thing is you gotta give the people what they want. Even if it kills you, even if it empties you out until there's nothing left to empty. No matter what happens, no matter how much it hurts, you don't stop dancing, and you don't stop smiling, and you give those people what they want.
And action. Why aren't you dressed for school, Prickly Muffin?
Aside from this, while on the set of Horsing Around, BoJack was also responsible for the first time she got drunk at the age of 10, when he leaves his vodka in a water bottle alone with her in the dressing room. All this in turn changed Sarah Lynn's life, as after Horsing Around ends, she becomes a pop star persona and transitions into a pop music career with a hypersexualized image with catchy but shallow songs. This career was symbolic of her attempts to remain relevant and cope with her fading fame while giving the fans what they want, as previously stated by BoJack. Aside from this, BoJack encourages bad behavior. For instance, in the episode Downer Ending, BoJack invites her on a drug-fueled bender, exacerbating her addiction and mental health issues even when BoJack is fully aware of her struggles and addiction to drugs and alcohol. This ultimately leads to Sarah Lynn's tragic end in the episode That's Too Much Man, in where we see BoJack invite her to a bender knowing that she's been recovering from drugs and alcohol for almost 9 months. This eventually leads to Sarah Lynn's overdosing on a brand of heroin called BoJack. Funnily enough, this also signifies that BoJack Horseman killed her by waiting 17 minutes. In the planetarium, BoJack and Sarah Lynn share a last conversation as the scene goes from sweet to tragic in a snap as Sarah Lynn dies of an overdose, with her last words being,
I want to be an architect.
Later in the show, we find out that after finding out Sarah Lynn has passed, BoJack waited 17 minutes before calling for an ambulance, just for him to deny that she was with her during the time.
Yes.
And then what? You just abandoned her?
No.
You just left her alone. An addict with heroin.
I didn't leave her. I was with her. I was with her the whole time. I was with her when she died.
I just keep thinking about those 17 minutes. You waiting in the parking lot after she died. But she wasn't actually dead yet. She died in the hospital.
Right, but at the time, I
Do you ever
didn't...
wonder what would have happened if you didn't take those 17 minutes? Do you think she might still...
No, look, obviously when I did all that...
This 17 minutes very well could have saved Sarah Lynn, but in reality, because of this, she was not able to make it out and passed at the young age of 31. That night, Sarah Lynn died twice. Once from the BoJack heroin, and the second one because BoJack waited 17 minutes before calling an ambulance.
You gave Sarah Lynn alcohol when she was a child. She then became an addict.
Well, come on, there was a lot of stuff in between.
I'm talking now. You're not talking. When she was intoxicated, you had sex with her. And when she was sober, you gave her the heroin that killed her. Then, in an effort to cover for yourself, you waited to call the paramedics that might have saved her life. And you don't think you have any power over women.
Gina Cazador is the co-star of BoJack in his hit show Filbert, about Detective John Filbert played by BoJack Horseman, who finds himself lost in time and is feeling haunted by the past, which relates well with BoJack himself about Penny, but we'll discuss that later.
If it hadn't come for you, what would you have done with the girl?
Part of me is sure I couldn't go through with it, but another part knows that's a lie.
During the course of the show, Gina and BoJack become good friends and even dated at one point. However, things take a dark turn the moment BoJack struggles with his addiction to painkillers during the show. He becomes increasingly paranoid and delusional, unable to distinguish between his real life and his character on the show. In a particularly intense scene on set, BoJack, in a drug-fueled haze, mistakes a fictional scenario for reality as he violently strangles Gina, nearly killing her before he gets pulled off by the crew.
Okay, cut!
See, that looks real.
Gina, you okay?
Okay, that's enough.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
In the next couple of days, however, due to numerous staff members taking a video of the incident, Princess Carolyn decides to take matters into her own hands and set up an interview with Biscuits Braxby in order for BoJack and Gina to reveal that they were just acting. At this point in time, BoJack has traumatized and scarred Gina, ruining her career because of the recorded incident while simultaneously making her have PTSD with her future acting gigs.
But my career, after so many failed attempts, is finally starting to take off. I am getting offers and fan mail and magazine columns about what a good actor I am. People know me because of my acting. And all that goes away if I'm just the girl who got choked by BoJack Horseman.
I can't lie about this.
I don't want you to be the most notable thing that ever happened to me. I don't want you to be the question I get asked in interviews for the rest of my life.
Cool down.
Do not tell me to cool down like I'm the crazy person here. I'm just trying to have a safe workplace environment.
I had you. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Herb Kazzaz is the creator of Horsin' Around and BoJack's best friend in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Herb's belief in BoJack's talent leads him to cast BoJack as a lead in Horsin' Around, which, as we all know, is the start of BoJack's career. However, the issue starts when Herb was caught in a public scandal about him being gay, which therefore threatens his career. This in turn prompts the network executives to fire Herb from Horsin' Around.
At the network. And if I get kicked off this, I won't recover. I need to know that you've got my back.
Being Herb's best friend at the time, Herb asks BoJack to support him by refusing to do the show with him, which BoJack agreed at first.
Wouldn't ask if I didn't need it. Come on, BoJack. How'd we get so far apart, huh?
You know what? You can count on me, Herb. I mean, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for you.
I knew it! I knew you'd come through!
However, Angela Diaz, the network executive for ABC, convinces BoJack to continue with the show as he would fall off if he gave up that position.
Well, if he goes,
you
I
go.
go.
I wouldn't do that. BoJack, I think you're a star. And sometimes being a star means making tough choices. You can storm out, make a big show out of what a good friend you are, or you could be the guy who does his job.
Angela.
I'll tell you when it's your turn to talk again.
This starts the disconnection between BoJack and Herb, in which although he kept in touch with the other cast of Horsin' Around, he never spoke to BoJack for 20 years. During the later years, however, Herb gets diagnosed with cancer, and this is where we see BoJack's ego. BoJack visits Herb for the first time in so long to ask for forgiveness for betraying him. However, Herb doesn't. I'll let Herb speak for this one.
I don't care about the job! I did fine. I had a good life. But what I needed then was a friend. And you abandoned me. And I will never forgive you for that. Now get the fuck out of my house.
During the 80s, early in BoJack's career, he met Charlotte and became good friends with her. However, the friendship and relationship got cut short when Charlotte reveals she's moving to Maine for a month before moving and settling in Tesuque, New Mexico. After a conversation with Diane discussing when the last time BoJack was happy, he remembers about Charlotte, the one that got away, the one he was supposed to have a good relationship with. Realizing this, he drives all the way to see her in New Mexico, hoping to have one more chance with her in a relationship. However, when arriving at New Mexico, BoJack learns that Charlotte has a family with kids. He of course can't be with Charlotte anymore. However, when he goes to prom with Penny, Charlotte's teenage daughter, BoJack realizes how much Penny and Charlotte look alike.
This night has been so perfect.
You know, you look just like your mother.
With this, he proceeds to almost sleep with Penny before Charlotte interrupts them.
Charlotte, I am so sorry.
Don't you dare. If you are not out of my driveway in 30 minutes, I will call the police. And if you ever try to contact me or my family again, I will fucking kill you.
It's worth noting that to begin with, BoJack was on the right course, as when Penny first tried to kiss him on the lips, BoJack refused. However, when Charlotte turned him down after his offer to leave everything behind for them to be together, BoJack folded and his desperation got the better of him.
BoJack, I think you got the wrong idea.
Let's go. Let's get out of here right now.
No, BoJack.
You and me. This is real. You know this is real.
My husband is right upstairs.
I don't care about your husband. All that matters is us.
Don't do this, BoJack.
I know you feel it too. So many times in my life, I've done the wrong thing, but this is the right thing, and I have never been more sure of anything. I've wasted so much time sitting on my hands and imagining what could have been. Tell me you don't feel the same. Tell me you haven't thought about it.
After the incident, Charlotte completely cuts BoJack off her life. This incident destroys BoJack's friendship with Charlotte, someone he deeply cared about and considered a significant connection outside of his toxic Hollywood environment. All this leads to Penny being scared after seeing BoJack in the future, while it also indirectly ruins his relationship with Hollyhock after Pete mentions what happened that night, with BoJack being responsible for his girlfriend's alcohol poisoning and escaping his responsibility to take care of her.
I'm the adult here, and I need you to listen to me, all right? Penny and I left early, and you don't know who gave Maddie the whiskey. Are we clear on this? I need you to be 100% with me here.
Just listen to him. He knows what he's doing, okay?
It's gonna be okay. Where did Maddie get the alcohol from?
I don't know.
And what happened to your friends, BoJack and Penny?
They left early.
See? That's not so hard.
What are you doing here?
Hey, Penny.
Did you come here to find me?
No,
You can't be here. I don't want to see you
No,
here. I don't want to
Penny,
see you at all.
I tried to...
I was 17. I didn't know any better.
Or Maddie's fault. Or my fault. It was just some shitty dude, you know?
Totally.
But you know the craziest part of all? The guy. He's actually kind of famous.
Really?
Yeah, I never heard of him, but it turns out he's kind of a movie star.
Who is he? Who is he?
It's times like these where we see BoJack for what he truly is, an irresponsible, selfish, and self-destructive person. It all comes down on him with his last interview with Biscuits Braxby, where she exposes him to the whole world. This video would take hours if I were to sit here and discuss the many wrong things BoJack has done, the consequences, and the lives he's ruined. However, with all that being said, one of the reasons why the audience somewhat feels sorry for him is the way he portrays the situations as the victim. He often frames himself as a tragic figure suffering from circumstances beyond his control rather than taking responsibility for his own action. This self-victimization is a key aspect of his character and serves to allow the audience to see his side and the justification for his actions. Let's look at the previous examples and how he uses victimization to appear like his actions are justified. During the incident with Penny, BoJack feels sorry for himself, regretting how his actions have led to another ruined relationship and more isolation. Instead of fully acknowledging the severity of his actions and the potential trauma inflicted on Penny, he focuses on how he has lost a chance at happiness with Charlotte. He fixates on how the incident affects him, portraying himself as a tragic figure who can never find happiness.
Real stupid piece of shit, and everywhere you go, you destroy people. Of course your mother never loved you. What do you expect? That's why Sarah Lynn died. That's why Charlotte will never forgive you. What are you gonna do to Hollyhock? What are you gonna do, asshole? Shut up!
When Herb refuses to forgive him, BoJack feels wronged and wallows in self-pity, focusing on how much he misses their friendship and how hurt he is by Herb's refusal to forgive him. He ignores the fact that his betrayal significantly contributed to Herb's career's downfall and personal suffering.
So, you're apologizing?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't forgive you.
Herb, I said I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I do not forgive you.
Not sure you get what's happening here. This could be the last time that
No. I'm not going to give you closure. You don't get that. You have to live with the shitty thing you did for the rest of your life. You have to know that it's never, ever going to be okay.
I really think that we'd both feel better if we
I'm dying. I'm not going to feel better. And I'm not going to be your prop so you can feel better.
You have to believe me. I did everything I could.
Yeah? Then why didn't you call me? Huh? 20 years, you didn't call me.
Finally, BoJack frequently frames his addiction and the resulting fallout as something that had happened to him rather than a series of choices and behaviors he needs to take responsibility of. He tends to focus on how difficult his life has been rather than the harm his addiction has caused to those around him. Throughout the show, we can see BoJack's troubled past, particularly his relationship with his parents, Beatrice and Butterscotch Horseman, which plays a significant role in shaping his character and influencing his actions. The show delves into BoJack's upbringing to provide context for his behavior, allowing us to understand and sometimes sympathize with his current struggles despite his many flaws. Beatrice is depicted as a cold and abusive mother, which is caused by her own parents. She often belittles and insults BoJack, calling him worthless and a mistake. These verbal assaults contribute to BoJack's low self-esteem and pervasive self-loathing.
We want to hear you sing. Now you want your mommy to love you. You go out there and you do the only thing you're good for, which is singing that goddamn lollipop song.
On the other hand, for the most part of BoJack's childhood, Butterscotch was absent and would project his frustration as a failed writer onto BoJack. Aside from this, Butterscotch's infidelity and alcoholism create a chaotic and unstable home environment. His behavior sets a poor example for BoJack, contributing to BoJack's own struggles and substance abuse. It's pasts like these which impacts BoJack's life throughout the show, and this is how we, the audience, sympathize with him. The show effectively illustrates how his parents' abuse and neglect have profoundly affected him. Understanding that BoJack's negative traits are a result of deep-seated trauma allows the viewers to empathize with his struggle to break free from these cycles. Episodes such as the Old Sugarman Place and Time's Arrow are important in understanding what BoJack had to go through and the result of it. In Season 4, Episode 2, BoJack goes to his grandparents' old summer home in an attempt to escape his life and find some peace. This episode interweaves BoJack's present-day experiences with flashbacks to his mother's traumatic childhood at the same location. During the episode, we can see that the house represents a connection to his family's history and the traumas that have been passed down through generations. The flashback overlapping with BoJack in real time is both beautiful and devastating. We can even see that at the end of the episode, BoJack destroys the house, which correlates so much trauma to him.
I warned you, when these guys tear the house down, it might make some noise.
Tear the house down?
Yeah. You think I just want to mope around in a shrine to the past, getting off on my own guilt while the rest of my life passes me by? Pathetic much?
In Season 4, Episode 11, the show delves into Beatrice's memories, revealing her own traumatic past and how it shaped her relationship with BoJack. In her old age, Beatrice suffers from dementia, and BoJack is left to care for her despite their history. Through Beatrice's memories, we learn about her own traumas, including her brother's death, her father's cruelty, and her mom's forced lobotomy. This context adds layers to her character and, by extension, to BoJack's understanding of her in his own life. By showing the traumas that shape both BoJack and Beatrice, the show humanizes its characters, making their flaws and behavior more understandable. Viewers see BoJack not just as a flawed individual, but as someone deeply affected by a cycle of trauma. Aside from this, the portrayal of generational trauma helps us understand that BoJack's behavior is a product of his upbringing. Although this whole video has been about the bad things about BoJack, I can't complete it without at least bringing up his good side. The good thing about watching a show where the main character does understandably horrible things is we get to see the other side of the coin, the good side. In Season 3, Episode 4, Fish Out of Water, we can see BoJack's selflessness as he tries to reunite the baby seahorse with its family. This episode shows that even if initially he was reluctant to help, he soon feels compelled to take responsibility for the lost baby seahorse. This episode also does a good job humanizing BoJack by stripping away his usual self-defenses, his sarcasm, cynicism, and verbal manipulation. What remains is a character who, despite his flaws, is capable of kindness, empathy, and selflessness. The perfect example of BoJack's goodness is his relationship with Hollyhock, in which it showcases some of his most genuine and caring moments throughout the series. Despite his many flaws and selfish tendencies, his interactions with Hollyhock brings out a more nurturing and protective side of him.
Yeah, I'll talk to you Sunday. Afternoon.
Yes, good, because I miss you. Sorry, that sounded dumb. I don't miss you, I'm just bored. That also sounded dumb.
I miss you too, BoJack.
When BoJack realizes that Beatrice overdosed Hollyhock, BoJack takes matters into his own hands and leaves Beatrice in the nursing home. Aside from this, throughout their time together, BoJack makes several attempts to reassure Hollyhock about her worth and her place in the world. He tries to counteract the negative influence of his mother and ensure that Hollyhock knows she is loved and valued.
That voice, the one that tells you you're worthless and stupid and ugly.
Yeah?
It goes away, right? It's just like a dumb teenage girl thing, but then it goes away.
Yeah.
Ultimately, throughout the season, BoJack tries his best to help Hollyhock find her biological mom, and is happy for her when she finally does and goes to visit her. Despite his numerous flaws and past mistakes, his care for Hollyhock showcases his capacity for love, empathy, and selflessness.
But I've never had a brother.
BoJack Horseman is a character who embodies the interplay of flaws, traumas, and moments of genuine humanity. Throughout the series, we witness his struggle with self-destructive behaviors, his effort to seek redemption, and his occasional acts of kindness and empathy. We can't help but root for him because BoJack's story is deeply human. We see in him our own fears and insecurities. His journey is a testament to the complexity of the human experience, how our past shapes us, how we strive for betterment, and how we often stumble along the way. The show's creator, Raphael, does so well in weaving a narrative that compels us to look beyond BoJack's action and understand the pain driving them. Ultimately, rooting for BoJack is about rooting for ourselves. It's about believing in the possibility of change and growth even when it seems out of reach. BoJack forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world we live in. Yet, it offers a glimmer of hope that even the most damaged among us can find moments of redemption and connection.
Well, it's not too late. It's never too late.
Yeah, that's right.
It's never too late to be the person you want to be. You need to choose the life you want. That'll be 5 cents, please.